Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out the range with some brand new ammunition from AAC. In case you don't know what AAC is, it's an ammo brand from Palmetto State Armory, or PSA, and they are punching their own steel-cased ammunition and producing 7.62 by 39. And this is in response to, I believe, the import bans on Russian manufactured ammunition. 7.62 by 39 is a very popular cartridge here in the United States, but outside of a few American companies that load it with brass cases, getting the steel case stuff is getting more and more difficult and more expensive. So it's nice to see an American company spin up the production. Now, we've seen other companies like wanting to do, ammunition in the past, but they were buying the steel cased ammunition from overseas and loading it themselves. PSA is punching their own steel cases. So that kind of changes the game. It's really cool. We had a chance to go out there and tour their ammunition manufacturing, but when we did that, they hadn't set up the steel case production quite yet. We saw the area where it was allocated to be put, but they didn't have the machines yet. And so it's up, it's running, including their primer manufacturing, which we had a chance to take a look at as well while we're there. But we're going to take a look at this ammunition, compare it to the Russian-made stuff. We'll do velocity testing, accuracy testing to see how it stacks up to steel-cased Russian-manufactured ammunition. And depending on our time constraints, we may actually compare it also to something like Norma, which is a brass-cased alternative out there that isn't quite as affordable, obviously, as the steel-case stuff, but that's not the point. So we will load up a little bit of ammo. This is a PSA AK. This is their spiker. It's absolutely gorgeous. I have an original Chinese version. They've done an outstanding job cloning this rifle. It's absolutely beautiful. This is some of their ammunition. Let's pop off a few rounds here really quick. And then let's get to our testing. A lot of folks ask me, how can I get involved in the firearms business in that particular community? And one of the best ways to do that is to become a gunsmith. Every gunsmith I know is just overbooked with work. It's a very good living. And so if you would like to become a gunsmith, you need to go to a gunsmithing school or become an apprentice for an existing gunsmith. But Modern Gun School is an accredited college that also works with veterans in the GI Bill, where you can go and get a degree from accredited college in gunsmithing and then go out and start your own gunsmithing business, which I think is a really great option. Again, throughout my entire life, gunsmiths have always been able to earn a really good living, assuming they have a really strong work ethic. So please check out Modern Gun School. I do have a link in the video description below. All right, so we have two different types of ammo right now. We may introduce a third ammo. We'll see how the video goes. But right now we're primarily concerned with comparing the AAC ammo, which I have a pulled bullet here, or cartridge, and then some Russian-made Red Army Standard. I don't have the original case. This is just some matched ammo we have in a random box. It doesn't say, at least not that I can see on it, what the actual factory is. It just says Russia on it. So it's just Russian-made ammo. Both of these have polyformance type coatings on the steel. So this is very similar to the Wolf polyformance type ammo, both the AAC and this Russian-made ammo from Red Army Standard. Both of these are using 122 grain projectiles. And you'll notice when you put the two bullets side by side that the AAC bullet has a different ogive to it, right? So it has a different profile to it, the Russian bullet being a slightly bit longer, and the nose on the AAC being pushed back a little bit, changing the profile of the bullet a wee bit. So we'll do a comparison here of these two rounds. We're going to use the Garmin Zero chronograph here, and we'll set our pulled cartridges aside here. This is the AAC ammo. Right here we have 3 rounds of it loaded. We'll go ahead and get the Zero set up here. Okay, rifle, yes. All right, 3 rounds, and we are using the CMMG Descent. This is in 7.62 by 39, and we've done a full video on this. Also on top, we have an SLX, Primary Arms SLX 1-10 power, and this has a second focal plane reticle in it, has a fire dot, an illuminated dot reticle that you can turn on and off with the knob over here, and it's on a Primary Arms mount. These are really nice, lightweight, very useful LPVOs. And we have it cranked up all the way to 10 power for some accuracy testing a little bit later, but right now we're going to worry about velocity. So here we go with the AAC ammo first. So we have 2,401 feet per second on the first shot. 2392.6 on the second. 2379.1. All right, so let's go ahead and set up another one. Okay, that got sent to my phone. Let's go ahead and do a new rifle session. Max session count reached. Yes, I know. Rifle. All right, so now we have 3 rounds of the Red Army Standard 122 grain ammo loaded. And let's see what we get for velocity on this. .2400 flat. 2286. 2388. Quite the spread. So let's go ahead and end that one. And send that to the phone. So average on the Russian ammo was 2358.7. Average on the AAC was 2390. So they're fairly comparable. Again, using the same bullet weight, 122 grains. All right, so we've pulled a bullet, compared it to a Russian bullet. We've done some velocity testing, it's very comparable. I will tell you that the recoil impulse, everything like that is identical. I couldn't tell the two apart if I loaded them separately into a magazine, did a blind taste test there. Now let's do some accuracy testing and see what we get out of accuracy. We've chosen the CMMG Descent for a reason, because generally speaking, we've gotten pretty good accuracy with this thing. And so we're using it for our accuracy test. So we'll get some targets set up downrange and let's fire a couple of groups, one with some of the Russian ammo and one with some of the new AAC ammo and see what we get. All right, guys, so we have 5 rounds of the AAC ammunition loaded into the short mag, 5 rounds of the Red Army Standard loaded into the 20-round mag. Let's fire this first group, see what we get. All right, move over to the Red Army Standard. I can tell you from here, typical Russian wildly inconsistent ammunition, and the AAC seems to have done better. Not surprising. So just out of curiosity, folks, we're going to do 5 rounds of Norma. This is 124 grain brass case stuff. See if it even holds the same 0. May not. Normal wasn't all that impressive. In terms of velocity, we also got some velocities on it. So the last shot was 2340. We'll go ahead and let's see. End session. That should send it to my phone and we'll get that velocity data, and we'll talk about it along with the groups from the Norma ammo, or the group, singular, not plural. So what ammo test would be complete without a quick function check from different types of firearms? So 2 rifles you've already seen in today's video. We did an opening with the PSA Spiker, which is a copy of a Chinese Spiker AK, very cool gun. Here we have the Descent CMMG. We've done most of our testing already with this, with the velocity and accuracy stuff. And then we have a classic Rashid carbine here. I've done videos on this as well. Very cool gun. And yeah, let's just start off with 10 rounds out of the Rashid and see how she does with the AAC Soviet Arms ammo. All right. Got our Descent here. Fine there, and then this beautiful Spiker. So it works just fine. Not surprising, because given our velocity data, I mean, the ammo's nice and warm. It's at least as hot as the Russian ammo, just a little bit warmer. 10, 20 feet per second warmer in some cases on average. So I wasn't surprised by the fact that it functioned all these firearms just fine. So overall, it seems to be pretty darn good 7.62 by 39 ammunition. Now, one thing that you will be asking yourself is, well, how much does this stuff cost? Well, there's 2 different price points. So I purchased, without doing any research, the 200 or 250 round blue box that you saw in today's video. It's bulk pack. Generally speaking, bulk pack is less expensive than individually packaged 20 rounds of ammunition. That's not the case with the Soviet Arms AAC PSA, that's a mouthful, 7.62 by 39. So if you buy it in 20 round boxes, it's 45 cents a round. If you buy it in the blue bulk pack box that I showed you in today's video, I think you're paying more for that little blue container, and that actually breaks down to 51 cents per round. So you'll save more money just by picking it up in the individually packaged 20 round boxes. So yeah, good stuff so far. All right, guys, so we have the results of our velocity and accuracy testing. So let's just kind of go over things very quickly. I have a little cheat sheet here. So for the AAC ammunition, we had a 5-shot group that that averaged 1.9 inches or 1.84 MOA. And we had a velocity on average of 2390 feet per second for the AAC. Then for the Red Army standard stuff, keeping in mind that the AAC is 122 grain, Red Army standard stuff, we had a group size, 5-shot group size of 3.2 inches, and that gave us a MOA of 3.08, and we had an average velocity of 2358. So a little bit slower than the AAC. We did decide to go ahead and do some Norma testing as well. I mentioned earlier we may actually throw a 3rd round in the mix, so we did. Norma is 124 grains, so it's 2 grains heavier. We have a 5-shot group size of that measured 2.48 inches, which gives us 2.37 MOA, and it had a standard velocity of 2331. So the AAC is hotter than the other 2 flavors of ammunition and gave us substantially about 1 MOA smaller, a little more in terms of group sizes. And 1 MOA at 100 yards is pretty significant. So the AAC is, of the 3 ammo types that we shot here this afternoon, is clearly the fastest moving and the most accurate. So my initial thoughts on the AAC / Soviet Arms / PSA ammo is that it's really good stuff. It gave us great accuracy, about 1.9 inch group out of a 5-shot group, which isn't bad. And we compared it to some Russian ammo. We even compared it to some RUAG Norma, and it gave us the tightest groups, which is really, really good. We also noticed that it had a slightly higher velocity than the other 2 types of ammunition we showed out here this afternoon. So the velocity is good, the function is good in a wide variety of firearms, and the price is competitive. So let's talk about that price really quick. Now, I already talked about this, but when I purchased this, I assumed bulk pack would be less expensive because I wasn't paying for each individual 20 rounds wrapped in a cardboard box. That's how it usually is, but apparently this little blue ammo can costs extra. So if you buy it bulk pack like I did, you're going to pay 51 cents a round. If you buy it in the 20 round boxes, you're going to get it for 45 cents a round. I know you're going to complain about the price, and I get it. This economy sucks. Right now it costs me 30 bucks to go to McDonald's. This entire economy's trashed, but the cost of ammunition could come down, as with any manufactured item and the cost of it, if more is produced as they pay off their tooling over time. And if people buy a lot of the ammunition, the cost can come down over time. Will it ever be as cheap as Russian manufactured ammunition? Probably not, because the cost of labor over there is less, and their economies are even worse than ours in many cases. So yeah, I don't think it's horribly priced. If you're looking for good quality ammunition, it's going to give you probably the best accuracy of anything that's currently out there. It's plenty warm enough and all that good stuff. Check out the AAC/Soviet Arms stuff. Also, if you didn't know this, PSA is making really good copies of AKs, and this is an example of one of those. Now, I do want to point out really quickly, while I have your attention before we wrap the video up, this is one of the AAC Soviet Arms rounds, and we've already talked about the finish on the case being very similar to Wolf polyformants. I don't know if it's the same chemical composition or not, but that's just what it reminds me of. And it looks very similar to the Red Army standard finish on its case. Next to it is a Barnul, and this Barnul round has a traditional lacquered case. And a lot of people want that lacquer case, and it's good stuff. The military, the Russian military used the lacquer cased ammunition for a very long time, but the polyformants ammunition works just as good. I don't have a problem with the finish on these cases, accumulating in the chambers or causing malfunctions and things I've seen people talk about in the past. And I've seen them talk about lacquer doing the same, which I've never had a problem with lacquer either. So I don't think it's worse than lacquer. I just think it's a different option and probably a more modern option than the lacquer case. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. All right, that's everything. If you have any questions about the ammunition and our testing in today's video, you can ask those questions down below. If you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms channel, the best way to do that is to become part of our Patreon family, and there's a link in the video description below. Also, right here on YouTube, you got the thanks and support button underneath the video player you're watching right now. Mash either one of those buttons. You can help support us on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Please swing by, check out Copper Custom. Thank you for 16 years of support, and we'll talk to you guys soon.